Hey guys, Erin here. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Well, not totally different because I have talked about He-Man before on my channel, but today we're going to be talking about the toys. So recently there are now Origins figures and Super7 figures. Now I was aware that they existed, but I never really looked into it. They didn't really catch my eye until I saw them in person. I was at Target and I just happened to see He-Man and Skeletor. And I was like, oh, those are actually kind of cool. And then I realized, oh no, I kind of want these. So I really like Skeletor. And yeah, I could have had a secondhand, vintage Skeletor, which is awesome. But I wanted my own Skeletor, one that I walked into the store and bought. So now I have my very own Skeletor, and I'm excited about that. And I ended up getting the other figures too, from the Origins line and the Super7 line. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna open all of them up, and we're gonna compare them. Some we're gonna compare to the originals, and we're just gonna see what they're about. All right, so let's start off with Skeletor. This is the Skeletor that started the whole mess when I saw him at Target that fateful morning. And here he is. As you can see, this is the Origins one, so these are based on the original toys, and he looks pretty similar to what I remember them looking like. Now, these aren't mine, these are Mike's, because he has, the originals, and I got this new one here. That's all mine. Okay, so I think I like the new one better, which makes me happy because this is my Skeletor and I like his red little eyes. Here he looks more like Death and Darkness, but I feel like this one captures the spirit of crazy, insane Skeletor more because he's just like, Eee! Now here is the Super 7 version of Skeletor. Now the Super 7 line is based on the cartoon. So they're gonna look closer to the cartoon than the original figures. The Filmation cartoon, to be exact. So this one's cool because he has like a really nice shade of blue that totally matches my nail polish. Like exactly, that wasn't planned. What a happy accident that was. But anyway, so they're different. I mean, this one obviously looks more like that yellowish face because he's not green in the cartoon. Now let's take him out of the package. I'm holding so many Skeletors. Okay, so now that they're out of the box, now I'm like, oh, do I like the Super 7 one better? See, I like that there's, he has like the pink staff instead of the purple one because, it's more like the cartoon. I like them both. I am going to display both Skeletors because I love them both. This one just looks more like the original action figure. I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I mean, you need to see them side by side. So all of them come with swords and the staffs. So the swords are different. This is the original sword from the original action figure. And then this one is the new one from the Origins line. So this is very purple. This one's more like a dark purple. This one pops more, like it's more, I don't want to say neon, but it's brighter. The shape's different. I think this shape is better than this shape. This one's more just like pokey, like not as detailed. This has like more of a curve to it and it's a little more detailed. Like the diamond indent on the sword, I feel like it pops more on this one. So I do think the new sword is better than the old sword. I'm making myself laugh by going, look at these two swords. I like that you can, put the little sword in their back. It's cute, I like it. And I like him, I like them both. I'm gonna have two Skeletor friends. So the Origins one came with a comic, much like the original action figures. They came with these little comic books that are pretty cool. I like that detail, because a few of the action figures actually came out before the cartoon, so to give some backstory to the character that wasn't really known yet, they came with these little comic books, and I think that was a really cool addition. And then the Super 7 one just comes with this little card right here. It says from toy to tune. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe brought action and adventure into living rooms around the world, and the fun continued with exciting Masters of the Universe action figures. In order to deliver the cartoon series on time, the toy designs were simplified for animation so that the figures did not always match the characters children saw on TV, until now. So that's kind of cool, that now you have the option to get some that look exactly like the cartoon versions of the characters. I like that they made that. Okay, so now it's He-Man time.
He-Man, He-Man. Who's Who's the big guy with the muscles?
He's He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe.
To be honest, I'm more excited about the Prince Adam figures than He-Man, but I'm like, okay, this is Masters of the Universe. I gotta talk about He-Man pretty early on in the video. So anyway, here are the new He-Man figures. He's so tan. So under He-Man it says most powerful man in the universe. And the backgrounds are totally the same. There's some other He-Men and they're gonna have different backgrounds, but we'll get to that in a minute. So on the back, there's some really cool artwork, and it says, He-Man battles his immortal enemy Skeletor, high atop the mysterious castle Grayskull. And then, you know, as it should, with any action figure, doll, toy, I like when you can see the other figures available, because that was something I remember, like, enjoying to look at as a kid, like, oh, well, what else can I, you know, try to get in the future? So I think that's nice that they did that. So on the back of the Super7 one, it says twist his waist and he swings back with a punch. So on the back of the Origins one, it says twist into powerful battle positions. This has more of an action stance, where the other one, you know, there was just a close-up on his waist, which was kind of weird. Just He-Man's crotch right there. Okay, so here are my He-Men out of the box. So the first thing I noticed was with this one, his leg muscles, like where his leg comes out, I know it's so they move, but it's just like, it's gross. The muscle details. It looks like a tulip flower. It looks like a flower petal. And with like this leg coming out of it. I know he's like obscenely like muscular because like whatever, it's like a action figure. But is it just me? I feel like his legs look disgusting compared to this one. I mean, they're both too meaty, but this one's just like, oh, I think it's the texture. It's like more rough, and this one's more smooth. I'm talking about the funniest things with these. Like this one's more shiny, and this one's more like matte, I guess you would say. So he's pissed off, he's angry, but his little boots move, which I think is a nice little touch. So unlike the original He-Man toys, these stand up a lot better. See, he looks like he's not gonna stand up, but he totally stands up. So I was surprised because on the original, this guy does not stand up. That's why people have made stands for them, because it's like, you can't keep these guys up. So one iconic thing about Prince Adam and He-Man is his hair. So I think they got the hair pretty on point here. His little bob, he even has his bangs. It's like, it's what you're expecting when you want a He-Man action figure. Now let's look at this one. He's a lot more yellow. This is more like natural blonde, and this is more like cartoon blonde. I like them both. This one has a bit more shag and wave to it. Maybe I like this one better. What do you think? Let me know in the comments about He-Man's hair. Now the original, this is more like, it's so like feathered back. Like it's more realistic. So those are my thoughts on the 3 different types of He-Man hair. If you didn't get these in the 80s, there was a long time where you couldn't find He-Man figures, you know, unless you got lucky at a garage sale, you know, like before eBay. Because it makes me think back to being really little and like going to antique stores and garage sales looking for Rainbow Brite stuff, because by the time I was around, like Rainbow Brite was long gone. And that was the same era as He-Man. So I imagine a lot of people, if they were into He-Man after its heyday, you just had to find it at garage sales. Now with eBay and the internet, it's so much easier to get your hands on this stuff, but there is something cool about like walking into Target and seeing these. I mean, I didn't see this one. I think some people have in stores or Walmart, but what I'm saying is it's cool that they're doing this, because I miss going into a store and getting what you want, instead of just ordering everything offline with like instant gratification. It's more fun looking for stuff. Like, I like the hunt. I like the chase. Okay, so up next we have Beast Man. You know, besides Evelyn, he's pretty much Skeletor's #2 guy. So he's a big character. Okay, so here are the 2 Beast Mans. We have the Super7 one, which is very bright. He's very neon. He's very radical. And then we have Origins Beast Man, which is a little more toned down, but also cool. So they're both the Savage Henchman. This one, it says figure twist for a power punch. And this one, I think he just poses. So here is the original Beast Man. He still has his little whip. He has his red armor. He has the, you know, teal detailing here. He looks pretty good. Now this is the Origins version, which you know is based off the original figure. So one thing I noticed about him, his armor is more of like a brick red, and it doesn't stay on as well. It could just be, you know, the way it was bent in the packaging. But these little shoulder guards, they don't. They just slip down his arm. These stay on better, and I like the red coloring better. But besides the shade of red, he's pretty similar. But the face is different. So in the original, his mouth is open, and in this one, he's just showing his teeth and like going, "Arr." All right, so now over here, we have the Filmation one. He is very, very bright. I like him. He's more slick. His whip is a little thicker. And he also came with this little necklace, this little medallion. I'm not sure what that's from. It's not ringing a bell, but I'm sure one of you guys in the comments might know. And then his armor, it's not as detailed actually as the original. He looks like Filmation cartoon Beastman. Like, what do you want, you know? He stands up, he's sturdy. It is a little weird that he's so smooth because he's Beastman. He's furry. He should have a little bit of texture. See here, they gave him texture in the original. This one's just smooth. It looks like smooth skin on muscles, and it's kind of gross, actually. But I mean, it's fine. What do you want? It's supposed to look like a film cell. So I just noticed on these Super7 figures, it says adult collector. I don't know why that makes me laugh. I guess it makes me feel better for like buying the shit. Anyway, so this one I'm really excited to talk about because it makes me laugh. This is Robot He-Man. He was in one episode of the cartoon, so of course they made a toy out of it. And it looks like He-Man got his face ripped off. I mean, that does kind of happen in the cartoon, but it's just because he's a robot. So it's called Robot He-Man, Robotic Duplicate of He-Man. I'm really excited about him. So here he is, and the first thing I noticed was that the accessories were a lot easier to put on. I had such trouble getting the stupid shield on the other ones, and this one just snapped right on. The sword, it stays. I can do his little action movement. Bling. And look, it doesn't fly off. It's great. You know what? It's because he's a robot that was built by, you know, Man-at-Arms, so this is like peak performance He-Man, and he got it right. I mean, minus the face off, but he wasn't expecting that, you know, because what happens in the cartoon, like Skeletor thinks he captures He-Man, and he's all excited, and then it turns out not to be He-Man because his face falls off. It's terrifying! Look at this thing! I love it. I like this more than the regular He-Man action figure. And look what else it came with. Came with the card. I like this card, it's funny. Like, look at this stance. So this is transforming He-Man. He kind of looks like mucus, but there's a reason for the mucus. It's because he glows in the dark, which is pretty freaking cool. But look at the box. It's like in the intro where like Cringer changes, I think. It's like all magical. I like this box. I wonder why. I mean, maybe other ones, but so far I think he's the only one that has a different background. Like the box has the stars. I really like this. So this is him mid-transformation. The backing card that comes with this one is, you know, from the intro, Transformation He-Man, right when he holds up the sword and says he has the power. No, he declares that he has the power, and then he becomes He-Man! He's exactly the same as the other He-Men. So there's not much to say. I'm gonna try to get a shot of him glowing in the dark. It's just kind of hard, but I don't know, maybe I'll be able to do that. But if not, you know what a glow-in-the-dark thing looks like. It's pretty cool. It's stupid because it's literally the same thing but glow in the dark, but I mean, think about it. When you were a kid, you liked glow in the dark stuff. I remember I had a Barbie that, like, her dress glowed in the dark, and she was like one of my favorite Barbies. It makes sense why they made this. Okay, so now let's look at Shira figures. I think Shira looks so cool. And because I used to go garage sailing a lot when I was really little, which is how I got into Rainbow Bright and other stuff that was popular before I was born, I'm surprised I didn't get into Shira. Maybe I just didn't see any Shira stuff, because if I saw the Shira dolls when I was little, I probably would have been very into it, but whatever. Now I like her, and now I have a Shira, 2 Shiras to be exact. So this one is like a lot more similar to the original, although the original had real hair. I don't own the original, but I think it's kind of weird that it's like they gave her like a real cape and some shine. It's like they probably should have given her real hair, although it is annoying to deal with older toys that actually have doll hair because it just gets kind of gross, and there are ways to like refurbish them, but whatever. So this is better for like practicality purposes, but let's open them up and look at the differences because there are a lot. Alright, so here are the two Shiras. I'm going to talk about this one first, the Origins version. So she has a real cloth cape, she has like this little mesh skirt right here, and she has like a shimmery detail on her face thing and on her belt. But it's kind of weird because it's like, okay, so they went to the detail with the cape and the shimmer, but like they don't have like the red jewel, you know, that she has right here. It's like, why not have that? It's like I can't decide if I like the shimmer or if I think it's more cheap looking. She has like the plastic hair, which looks okay. But one thing that's cool, you can also, so you can wear her little mask like that, or you can flip it upside down. Ta-da! So she's cool. Cool. So this is funny. So I was like, okay, so they're probably gonna put a comic that involves Shira, right? She's not in it until the very last page, but to be fair, you know, this is a very short comic, but so she is in this one. Now here is the Super7 version. She does have the little red jewel, which I like. Her hair, it's more natural blonde than that yellow cartoon blonde. Her cape is also real, actually. You know, it's cloth, it's shorter. You know, this looks more like the cartoon Shira we're familiar with. And I like the little blue jewel detailing on the sword, because nobody else's swords have any like little jewels like that. I mean, I guess in design they don't, but I just think it's cool that she has like those little jewels on her shield and on her sword, and the shield and sword fit very nicely into her hands. Like this wasn't hard to get on at all. This one I had trouble with, but this one, her accessories went on really easily, and they're sticking. And she has that little action movement like He-Man. Fling! That's fun to do. So this is another one of my favorite characters. This is Man-at-Arms. I was really excited about these figures because unlike the original figures, they finally gave him his mustache on both of them, which I thought was interesting because, you know, the original figure doesn't have the mustache. But anyway, this is good. He now stands out from being a regular old Eternia soldier. So let's open them up and look at the differences. Oh, and it says Man-at-Arms, heroic master of weapons, and a master of stashes. Alright, so here is the Super7 Man-at-Arms, and here is the original Man-at-Arms. No mustache. Even their faces are different. I mean, obviously, you know, this one's based on the cartoon, so this looks like Man-at-Arms, but yeah, so there is big difference here. And then here is the Origins one. So the color difference, he is a lot brighter than this guy. He still has the mustache though, and I like this helmet. Their helmets are different. There's like so many differences. So the main difference, look at all this I'm supposed to put on this guy right here. So it's really easy for me at least to confuse the Super7 versus the Origin figures, because when you think cartoon, you think bright colors. You'd be like, oh, well, this is the one based on the cartoon. But it's like, no, this is actually the Super7 figure based on the cartoon. And it's weird because like his stance is closer to the original Man-at-Arms stance, but yet he's the Super7 and this one's the Origins. I finally put all the armor on. I improvised some of it because, I mean, I did go off of the original, but like, I don't know. So there's his armor. It's very Nickelodeon orange. So I did find it interesting that their little clubs, it's like they're identical. I mean, the little circles, jewels, whatever, are a little bigger on the new one, but pretty similar. And the detail on the helmet is very similar to the original. So, I mean, it's different, but pretty similar. I mean, when it comes to details like that, it's just the mustache is the main difference here. And the, you know, I mean, I don't know if originally you had to put the armor on yourself. Maybe you guys remember, but this one you did. This one, armor was already on. I like that. He's good to go. The hard work was done for me. And he also, for the Super7 one, he also came with his little machine gun turret. I don't know. I don't know my terms. So, you know, he can scope things out and shoot them. So let's look at all of Man-at-Arms faces. So I would say, as it should, the Super7 one looks the most like the Man-at-Arms we know and love. So compared to the Origins one, his face is still very, like, meh, kind of like this guy right here, the original. But, you know, he does have the mustache. But, I mean, when you compare the two new ones, of course you're going to say that the Super7 ones looks a lot closer to Man-at-Arms. I think his face looks pretty good. Like, that's Man-at-Arms. I think they did a pretty good job on the sculpt. And you know, this one, they did a good job if you want it to look like the original, but with the mustache. So I like these. I like Man-at-Arms. I'm gonna do a whole video about his mustache. So speaking of his mustache, they each have different mustaches. This one is more like a merp, merp, not connected. There's a little patch in the middle. Handlebar. This is more handlebar mustachy. This one is more straight up mustache. This looks more like Tom Selleck. So if you're a fan of Tom Selleck, I would say go with the Man-at-Arms from the Origins line. And if you just like Man-at-Arms and don't care about Tom Selleck, then get the Super7 one. But yeah, different mustaches. This one is a lot more bushy and Selleck-like. Selleck is a weird word to say over and over again. But I like the Super7 Man-at-Arms. I think this is the Man-at-Arms that I'll display in my game room. He looks friendly. Who grooms his mustache? Does he have a mustache comb? He comes with so many batons and items. It's like they should have gave him a comb. Because clearly he keeps it up. What if they do like steampunk Man-at-Arms where it's like, like it's curled? That'd be disgusting but funny. Alright, so next up we have two evil Lins. The evil warrior goddess. I really like her. I think she's a fun character. So these are very different. So originally she was yellow. The action figure was yellow. So this is the Origins one. So it is more like the original retro toy, which we have right here. And she is very neon yellow and I'm kind of into it. It's like a neon green almost, like a snot green. I don't mean that in a gross way, I mean that in a good way. So I like her a lot. I think that's cool. But, you know, and then we have the Super7, and this is the evil Lin we're used to when it comes to the cartoon. She has the more natural skin tone, and her outfit color scheme is the same, but she has like a dark black cape. So let's take these out and see what kind of weapons our evil Lins come with. Okay, so first I'm going to talk about the Origins version, because there's actually a lot of differences when it comes between the Origins version and the original toy. First off, the facial expressions. On the new one, I love her little smirk. I think it's so cute. I don't know, I just like her face. She's like, "Arr." But I think they did the makeup better here. I mean, the makeup is more of the time, I guess, but I don't know, I kind of like the winged liner and the blue eyeshadow and the pink lipstick. I think that's nice. I wish they could have done that makeup on this expression. Which, you know, I guess looking they kind of did. I just like the eyes better on this one. I think overall I like the Origins version better than the original. And she has her little staff. Pretty similar. I don't see any changes really with the staff. Well, it's a little thinner on the bottom on the original. And now over here we have the Super7 figure. So this looks like the evil Lin from the cartoon. And I think this is really well done. I like her little crystal ball right here. They gave her a lot of accessories with this one. With this one, we also get this weapon. And we even get a little crystal. And she has like a real cloth cape. And I like her little boots. And her feet move in the Origins version. This one, her boots and feet do not move. But she has that little flippy action that they all have. And her cape goes, woo! Alright, so this is the original evil Lin, and I just realized you can see her little butt cheeks peeking out. She does not stand at all. In fact, she wants to do the splits. She doesn't want to stand. This figure is not gonna stand. She just falls. But the new one, the Origins version, she can stand. It's still, you know, a little wobbly, but she's not gonna do the split. She's here to stand and take care of business. She's gonna stand. I do think this is an improvement from the original overall, though I do like the makeup, you know, on the original. And then for the Super7 version, we got this little photo card right here. I think the Super7 cards are really cool. I think it's neat that they included this, you know, because it's like the Origins, you know, they have the comic books like the original. So I think it's nice that it's like just because these are based on the cartoon that they did include something, even if it's just the photo card with some facts on the back. I think it's better than nothing. And they're nice illustrations. It's Teela time! So we have two different Teelas here because Teela was very different in the comics versus the cartoon. In the comics, you know, she was more of like a barbarian warrior type, and she was actually kind of going to turn into the Green Goddess, and like the sorceress didn't exist over here. But you know, then they made the sorceress for the cartoon, so she kind of just became Man-at-Arms daughter, kind of regular warrior girl. But over here they say Teela, heroic captain of the Royal Guard. But here she's just heroic warrior goddess. So they do have different taglines because they are essentially different characters. So here is the Origins version of Teela, and here is the original. Now, the first thing I notice is the hair color. Here, her hair is just straight up brown. Here, it's more red, which is more Teela, in my opinion. The shield fits different. This shield just slips on her wrist. Really easy to get on. This shield fits in her hand in like a really weird way, and this was really annoying to get on her hand. I don't know, I had trouble with it. Comes with the snake staff, which is pretty similar, the cobra staff, and she has her battle armor on, and she looks like she's ready to go. The sculpt is like the same as Evelyn. They're just different colors. Like the detail, like let me take off her snake armor real quick. So the heads are different, but the body and the outfit's the same. Even their little arm cuffs are the same. They're twins and they don't even know it. But, you know, doing that was very common, you know, in the He-Man era. There were a lot of He-Man toys that used the exact same sculpt, like Faker, just so they could sell another He-Man, which is essentially the same He-Man. It happens, or they just change, you know, little pieces, like the head would be different, or the paint would be different, but it's the same figure. Alright, now let's open up the Super7 Teela. You know, before Shira, it was just Teela and Evelyn. Those were the girls. Okay, so this is the Filmation Teela. I like her hand, that's just like... And that is what you have to put her little shield on. But it can slip off easily. So I don't know. I have her like this, and it's fine. It's easier to get on. It's better than the original, in my opinion. Of course, I like this Teela better because this is a Teela I know from the show. Seeing these figures, I really wish I could find outfits. Like, I would love to cosplay. I'm not a cosplay person. I would love to dress up like Evelyn and Teela, especially Teela. I want to be Teela for Halloween, but anyway. So this is the figure. I like her boots on this, you know, like, it's just cuter. I know that's something lame to say, but whatever. So I like that, you know, she has a little white fuzzy detail on her boots because it looks like the Filmation Teela. You got her outfit. She has her sword. She has the waist super punch motion or whatever they call it. She has her little collar. I like her little tiara right here. I don't know. I think the detail's good, and I think it's a really good looking figure. And it came with this little backing card. Cool little artwork of Teela, little action pose. Alright, so now it's Merman time! The Ocean Warlord! He's cool, you know, he just lurks the depths of the ocean, and the Skeletor's like, yo, go attack Eternia, and then he does it. He's like a really fun character. I think the villains are so fun, and he's one of the best ones. Here we have the Origins figure. It's more teal green like the original. And he has his bright yellow armor. And then here we have the Filmation Super7 Merman. This looks like the Merman I'm familiar with. Very blue. And like, it's kind of like a gold armor. Not like really gold, but like a muted gold is the best way I can explain it compared to the bright yellow. So this is the Origins version of Merman. Now the first thing I noticed was because it's just so yellow, his armor, and especially his sword, it looks like corn on the cob. And from this angle, it looks like he's looking at the corn in astonishment. So here's the original. You know, this one's instead of so yellow, he's more gold. I actually think the original looks better than the Origins figure. I guess it's like almost the same shade of teal, but just that yellow armor, I feel kind of kills it. I don't know, I feel like it doesn't look that great. He's more orange by his eyes. What would you call that? Scales? I guess his scales by his eyes. One thing's funny, here he has like, they gave him a neon green belt, where here it's just orange, like his little underwear, little underoos. So in the original, his face is even more like he's even more shocked, where this one's a little, his mouth is closed slightly more, but he still looks very confused. I find it quite amusing. I don't know, maybe because of the facial expression and the corn sword, I like this one better. You know when you're a kid, you play with toys in the bathtub? Like, I had an Ariel that would swim, and she would change colors, and I thought it was the coolest thing. But what if, like, we had Merman there, and then Merman and Ariel could, like, fight crime in the tub? I wish he changed color, like, when you dip him in water, he should change color. Why didn't they do that? So here is the Super7 version. This is the Filmation version. This one, you know, obviously, this looks more like the Merman we know. I like his facial expression better. I like the wide mouth. I like the eyes. They just look more like they're protruding out of his face. But, you know, it's gold, which I think looks better, but I feel like it looks a little cheap because I feel like it would be better if they gave this like a metallic gold. I don't know why it's just flat muted gold. I think it would look a lot better if it was like a little bit shiny, you know? But, you know, this is still corn. Maybe it's supposed to be, what do you call those things? Barnacles that attach onto the side of a boat. I'm thinking way too much about the sword. But anyway, he also has this really long aquatic looking staff, like a harpoon, maybe. I think it's cool that they finally gave him the weapons that he had in the actual cartoon, compared to, you know, the original where he just had his corncob sword. So this is definitely an improvement. I like this one better. And for a little bonus for you, this is totally random, but here's an eraser version of Merman. Can you imagine using this in school? Like, your teacher would think this was like a toy. I wouldn't want to mess him up. It's like you're erasing with his head, and he's like, "You're killing me!" Okay, so next up we have Prince Adam. I'm really excited about the Filmation version of Prince Adam because this is like true to his coloring. He has that pastel pink shirt and man, those purple tights, and it's beautiful. He's definitely getting displayed. And then they got this one that comes with the Sky Sled. So this is a really cool set. This was one of the things I found easily at Target. I don't know, I think it's cool. So let's open these and compare them to the original. So real quick, I just want to point out at the back of the Super7 box, we have Cringer playing with little kitties, and Prince Adam is just lounging. It says, Prince Adam plays the role of lazy heir to the throne of Eternia in order to keep his identity of He-Man a secret. And Teela's pissed. She's like, get up. Let's talk about the Super7 figure first. But I just love his outfit. It's like the velvet pink. It's perfect. I think they did a really good job with this Prince Adam. And he still, you know, comes with his sword. It's like a neon fuchsia. I like it. I think this is a good figure. And look at his hair. This is like what you want Prince Adam to look like. And here's the original. You know, I think they probably tried to make it look more appealing to boys or whatever, and it's more of like a burgundy, but he still has those purple tights, but this one wins. So, okay, so this is the Origins one. So his vest is plastic here, and it's like a neon red. I'm kind of into it though, I like it. You know, it's not straight up pink. It's like a watermelon red, kind of like the N64. This is just such an improvement, I think, from the original, I gotta say. This is the original. Look at his shirt. It's like an off-white. It's like a yellowed white. Like, he hasn't washed it or taken a shower in a very long time. It's just caked in, like, sweat and BO. That's why he's wincing. He's clean and he takes care of himself. He probably moisturizes. This Prince Adam does not give a shit. It's amazing he shaves. I mean, you're not gonna want to smell these tights after a long day. So up next, we have Panthor. This is the Origins version of Panthor. I had to get him because I needed my own Panthor. Now here's the original Panthor. This is Mike's. He's flopped, you know, he's fuzzy. I like the fuzziness, but the thing is with the fuzziness, it's just the dust is just hard to get off. So this is the new one. He's all plastic, so let's open him up. But first, look at this art right here. Isn't that badass? Skeletor's riding into battle on Panthor. I like it. It's cute. Look at the little Panthor. And on the back, there's even more. Panthor, Savage Cat. What a tagline. An awesome, fearless fighter. Removable armor. Carry Skeletor into battle. That's right. Well, let's make that happen. Alright, so here is Panthor. He's a lot larger than the original Panthor. They have pretty much the same facial expression. except he has a lot more detailing in his eyes and his nose here. This one probably looks better, but I do like the look of the fuzzy one. I don't know, I'm torn. His armor is a lot more teal, it's more bright. This is darker. I feel like this looks a little cheaper, but it's okay. You know, this one, he doesn't move at all. This one has the articulation. You can move his legs. Can you move his tail? You can even move his tail! That's great. And Skeletor fits like a glove. Look at him go. Maybe I should display my Skeletor like this. I don't know, I think this is kind of cool. Look at that. And up next we have Battle Cat, He-Man's fearless friend. So he's gonna be pretty much the same as Panthor, but you know, his armor's different. So let's open him up and see what he's like. This is the artwork on the back. Again, another really cool scene. Alright, so here is Battle Cat out of the package. Exactly the same as Panthor. They both move the same sculpt. So here's his armor. You can take it off. Well, first let me put He-Man on him so you can see what that looks like. So you can ride into battle. So there's He-Man riding into battle on Battle Cat. You know, I like that he's sturdy on there, like he doesn't fall off. So compared to the original, the armor is a lot more red. Obviously, this is just, you can't move it or anything. This one you can move, so it definitely is an upgrade. Let's take the armor off and then look at Cringer underneath it all. Oh, and real quick, you got the little yellow eye detail. So that snaps off really easily. I like that. Okay, that came off a lot easier than I thought. So then, you know, if you want just normal Cringer, not looking like Cringer on a bad day. Yeah, it's basically Battle Cat if he had his armor knocked off, because isn't Cringer smaller? I feel like he also grows, so forget what I said. He's just Battle Cat with no armor, Battle Cat with armor. One thing that always bothered me about his armor, his nose covering, I don't know why I don't like it. I never liked it, but he's okay. I think Panthor's cooler, but I like Cringer. Yeah, like the face, this looks like Battle Cat. Like, you know that's Battle Cat. This is more like generic tiger, because that's what they did. They had like these old tiger molds and they just used them, but this is definitely an upgrade. I like Hordak a lot, and I first realized how much I liked Hordak when he turned into a rocket in Secret of the Sword. I just thought that was really funny. He's a ridiculous villain. You know, he's like frenemies with Skeletor. They used to work together and now they hate each other. And I don't know, I think he's funny. So this is the Super7 Hordak. I don't think there's an Origins one, I'm not sure. But here's the original Hordak. So these guys are totally different. This is Hordak, ruthless leader of the evil horde. You know, Skeletor has the evil warriors, Hordak has the horde. Maybe that's why his name is Hordak. Hordak's horde. On the back, you got him fighting Shira and He-Man, you know, because he was mostly on Shira, that was like her Skeletor. It says Hordak uses his powerful shape-changing abilities to fight both He-Man and Shira. Okay, so here they are side by side. This is the new Hordak. Obviously a big improvement. He has the arm cannon, which, you know, that was like a major... When you think of Hordak, I feel like it's like, oh yeah, the guy with the arm cannon. He doesn't even have one here. And his color scheme, he's just all black and gray and red. Here, you know, he's blue, gray, black, and red. There's more detail. This guy has a cape, though. But yeah, this does not look like Hordak to me. I mean, it does, but it's just, it looks wrong. But this one, I think, is a big improvement. I like the arm cannon. So the arm cannon kind of just, you snap it on there. And then he has his little crossbow thing. Is that what it's called? And I don't know, I think the detail on the face is really good. Hordak's weird, you know? It's like he has ties to Shira because he stole her as a baby, and then like he was Skeletor's mentor, and then Skeletor betrayed him, so it's like he has a lot of stuff going on, this guy. But yeah, again, side-by-side comparison, this is very white, this is off-white. I mean, it could be aging of the figure, but it looks like it was intended to not be like super white. I just think this one looks cooler. He doesn't have the cape, but you know what? I think that's okay. Alright, so now it's time for Orco! People have very different opinions when it comes to Orco. Some people like him while other people hate him, kind of like Snarf from Thundercats. I like Orco. I don't like Snarf though. But that being said, I don't really know much about Thundercats. But anyway, I like Orco. I'm excited to see these Orco figures. So the Origins one, it comes with some glittery purple stuff. I'm excited to dig into that. And then the Super 7 one looks a little darker, which, you know, it's kind of weird since this is going to be the Filmation one. But anyway, let's open them up and see what they're like. So just for reference, this is the original Orco figure. He came with this little ripcord that you pull and then he can spin on a table. And he also came with this little magic trick thing, and there's like different characters on the little coins. I'm not sure how this works, but this is the only accessory that he came with. And this is the Origins version. This is definitely my favorite Orco. I like how he has this little purple glittery magic cloud and this clear stand that you can move. You can have him floating whichever way you want to pose him. His arms pose. And I just think he's really cute. And of course they're gonna have a thing that allows him to float because Orco is Trollian, which is a species of little floaty guys like himself. You know, he's just floating around being the bumbling wizard guy that he is. It's so funny because you would think his face would be blue, you know, like his ears and his hands, but you know, they made his face like just like dark black with the eyes, so you know, because he's a shadowy, mysterious figure. It's funny that they gave him this mysterious trait because he doesn't seem like a mysterious type of guy. He's just very silly, you know, but there's still some mystery there, which makes him kind of cute. Alright, and up next we have the Super 7 figure. I do like this figure. I mean, the colors are more muted. They're darker, I guess I should say, not muted, just not as bright. And he comes with a lot of accessories. So he comes with this little black flower. I think that's really cute. So I like to pose him with this. And I mean, this could have been done better. This is like magic. This is just plastic magic. You can't attach it to him in any way. I wish you could like attach it behind him or something. So I was wrong. I just saw this little hand imprint in the magic. You can totally stick his hand in there. Let's see if that works. Okay, so there he is doing magic, making magic, casting a spell. So it is hard, you know, to depict a toy doing magic, and I think this is actually pretty well done. Like at first I didn't realize you could stick his little hand in there so it stays, but I think that looks really good. I like this figure. I like both. Actually now I don't know which one I like better. And also he has wheels so he can roll around, conducting magic. So actually there's an Orco variant. We have Shadow Orco. He is the magical shadow of Orco. And it looks like Orco just got painted black. Now this is the back of the box. And it says the evil Shadow Weaver, we'll get to her in a minute, I have a lot of feelings on her, captures Orco's shadow in an attempt to drain him of his magical power. Okay, so having taken him out of the package, he's actually cooler than I thought he was. He's actually translucent black, so he's kind of see-through, which I think is a nice touch. It makes him look more shadowy, in my opinion. So it's the same exact accessories as the other Super 7 figure, but these are shadow looking, and his little flower is clear. The magic is even shadowy. So this is cool. I don't know, I think it's a cute little variant. Okay, so up next we have some stuff that's more connected to Shira. Here is Shadow Weaver, evil mistress of dark magic. Now, when I first saw her, it was in the Secret of the Sword movie, you know, where they introduced Shira. And I remember looking at Mike going, what the fuck is that? It's Orco with tits. I'm sorry. I feel like they should have at least made her, like, her cloak a different color. Because she's also very mysterious because you can't see her face. It's like, they made her look too much like Orco in my opinion, and I just don't like her. She creeps me out. I don't like her. So up next, we have a really funny looking guy. We have Evil Seed, evil master of plants. So that's why, you know, he's kind of Bulbasaur looking, but not in a cute way. He's just like a head of cabbage or broccoli that's pissed off, and he tries to entrap everyone in vines. I think he's only in the one episode. And then it's funny, I like that episode. It stands out to me because in the beginning, Man-at-Arms is having like an allergy attack, and I'm like, oh, that's funny, because I have allergies. I don't know, I just thought that was funny. And it turns out he was having bad allergies because Evil Seed was making crazy vines grow everywhere. Okay, so here is Evil Seed with this little plant attachment. It fits on his hand really easily. So that's kind of cool looking actually, because other than that I feel like he's kind of a boring figure, but I like that little attachment. He also comes with a shield. I don't really remember him having a shield in the episode, but it's like, why not? Everyone gets a shield. Let's give this guy a shield. So up next we have Trapjaw, evil and armed for combat. What's cool about his character is he's kind of like Skeletor in the way that he was originally kind of like more human, and then after an accident, you know, he lost his jaw, and now he has this mechanical jaw and a robot arm. So he kind of became this like cool looking villain, but he wasn't always that way. So for reference, here is the original Trapjaw. His head was bobbling and it kind of made me laugh. So his helmet, you can close it or open it. I like that his jaw moves, you know, because that's like his name. And he has this little hook on the top of his head, because in the commercial they showed a kid put like a string through it and then he just like can glide, you know, across the room. So that's what that's for. I mean, imagine this guy going meow. It's kind of funny. Anyway, so here's the original. And here is the Origins version. He is a lot more neon. He's more of a totally rad dude, you know? I like it though. It's like a really good neon blue, neon green, and neon reddish pink. I really like the color scheme with like the green padding right here. It almost looks like, it looks like these knee pads I had for my rollerblades when I was a kid. So I like that. He still has the little skull detailing on his little wrestler belt. I call it a wrestler belt because I think it looks like one. And he comes with various attachments. I like the little pinchy one, to be honest. It makes him look like a little lobster man. But you can also put a little hook on him, so he can be a little Captain Hook. Or this, which I think is a little ray gun. I don't totally remember, but pew! And he still has a little loop at the top of his head, so you can still put a string through it and have him swoop down your room or whatever. So here is the Filmation one to look more like the cartoon. Obvious differences. He's pink. He's a lot more pink or red, whatever you want to call it. He's a lot more colorful in that sense. I can't really tell which style I like better. I like them both. Oh, and I forgot to say, the jaw moves on the new one too, as it should. This one also moves, and look, he still has the little loop. He doesn't have the little skull and crossbones though on his belt, which is kind of disappointing, but I don't think he had it in the cartoon, so whatever. But yeah, pretty much same thing, just there's a lot more color on him. Also, if you look at the face sculpt, this looks like Trapjaw in the cartoon. I think they did a really good job. Whereas the original one, they don't really look like Trapjaw. I mean, it's obviously Trapjaw, but the features aren't like the cartoon. Know what I mean? Okay, so now we have one that was pretty rare in the original run of the He-Man figures. This is Scareglow, evil ghost of Skeletor. He wasn't in any of the episodes of the cartoon, and some people think it's literally the ghost of Skeletor, and some people interpret that tagline as he's a ghost owned by Skeletor. So it's up to interpretation, but he's pretty badass looking. He glows in the dark. He's a skeleton that glows in the dark. I love it. I like it a lot. I wish it was easier to get glow-in-the-dark toys on camera, but whatever, you get the idea. Here's the picture of what it looks like to glow in the dark. So here is the original Scareglow. He has his little cape, looking spooky. I like him, he's sassy. And then this is the new one. I think I like the new one better because the cape is slightly more purple. This is more of a plum. See, I'm getting real into it. It's a little brighter. His boots, slightly brighter. Now this could just be the age of the figure, or I don't know, but it looks slightly different, but I mean, it's pretty identical, except his battle axe staff, if you will. It's like neon green, and this one's more just straight up, you know, green. I think this is a good looking figure though. I'm glad they released this since this one was so rare. If you didn't get it, now you can get this one, and it's pretty identical. And I think it's a good quality looking figure. And now it's time for the winged warrior himself, Stratos. He's an okay character. I've never liked the way his like face looked, because it's like a beard made of feathers, and I find it very off-putting. I don't like it. Originally, here's the two Stratoses you could get, but their jetpacks were different colors. And his wings were also different colors. One of the episodes I remember is when like Skeletor makes like fake Stratoses or whatever. So I'm like, okay, this could be one of the fake ones and this is the real Stratos. Like, which one is the real one? Anyway, so in the new one, he has the blue jetpack because they wanted to get it right this time. I have no idea why originally you could get 2 different variants. It might have been a mess up and they just set out the other batch because like whatever. He comes with a spherical staff and his wings are red. So he's a little combination of everything. You know what? I'm surprised they didn't make Delora his sister. I don't know if she's in more than one episode, but she was in that episode I just talked about. And I feel like Super7 should make a Delora because then he has a Stratos looking friend and, you know, it could be another girl action figure, so why not? I think she's cool looking. I liked her outfit. I thought she was a cool character. So I don't know, maybe Super7 will make her because why not? They make Evil Seed, so why not make her? So fun fact, if you look at the bottom of Beastman and Stratos, it's the same figure, just painted differently. Because, I mean, it makes sense because he's supposed to be feathery and he's supposed to be furry, so it's up to interpretation, but same thing, different colors. So it's another example of them using the same mold for multiple characters, which makes sense in this case. So next up we have Roboto, the heroic mechanical warrior. I like robots, you all know that by now, but I just think he's cool because he's clear and you can see inside of him. It kind of reminds me of this toy robot I had when I was little. I'm gonna have to Google it and find the name because I can't find the name, but he had like a little baseball hat and sneakers, and I think he also had a part that was clear, or maybe his head was clear. Anyway, it reminds me of that, so I think that's why I like Roboto. So here's the original, and the front, like the new one, has the blue and red gears, but on the back, he has green and orange gears. Sadly, on this new one, they didn't give him the different colored gears on the back. I mean, it's not a big deal, but it's just like, oh, that was like a nice little detail. But besides that, they are very similar. His boots here are like a metallic purple, and I don't know if that's from age or not, and these are more silver. So I gotta say, I like the original Roboto better. And look at the gears move when you do this. And his little flap on his helmet moves. I just think he's a really cool figure. But I mean, this one's pretty good too. I like them both, but I gotta go with the original on this one. And next up, we have the heroic spy in the sky, Buzz-Off. I think it's a good name for a bee-like character. I don't really like Buzz-Off. I don't know. He gives me the heebie-jeebies because he's furry. He's like also furry and like a bee is furry. And I have this thing where I just don't like furry insects. I mean, they're fine, I just don't want to come in contact with them. So I also don't want to come in contact with Buzz-Off. I'm sorry. Sorry, Buzz-Off fans. So this is the original. And I know the eyes are on the helmet, but like even without the helmet, his eyes are still bug-like and like he's just weird looking, and his wings. He's fine. I'm sure if you're like a little boy, you think he's cool. He's fine. I like other ones better. And the picture on the back of the box says, alongside Stratos, Buzz-Off uses his wings for airborne spying missions. And like Stratos is like smiling real big. He's real proud of Buzz-Off. I just think that's a funny drawing. So, you know, Stratos and Buzz-Off are the flying ones, so, you know, if somebody falls off their sky sled, they can swoop in and save the day. That's probably, you know, their purpose for flying, and plus, you know, they probably wanted to have a flying character, because why not? Next up, we have a cool little figure here. We have Manny Faces. Get it? Like, because he has a many faces. Heroic human, robot, monster. What a tagline that is. I want that to be my Twitter bio. But yeah, they always have puns. You know, there's man-at-arms, men-y faces. It's what He-Man does. So you can turn his head in 3 different ways, and he has different faces. And I'll show you here on the original. See, you just turn it. Then you can choose who you want walking around that day. So the coloring is very different on these. This one is very yellow. This is just straight up yellow, blue, and purple. And this one is like orange, blue, and like burnt orange. I don't know. I feel like this one looks a little cheaper. What do you think? And lastly, we have Zodak, Cosmic Enforcer. What a cool title that is. I want to be a Cosmic Enforcer. So he's kind of like a mystical guy, you know, I just remember the episode where he like challenges He-Man to make sure he's like a good person and will always do the right thing. And of course He-Man does, because He-Man is everything good. And Zodak just wanted to make sure that was right, because he is the Cosmic Enforcer. Anyway, so here's the original and here is the new one. The coloring is exactly the same. I honestly don't really have anything to say when it comes to differences. So if you want something very close to the original, I mean, this is exactly the original, in my opinion. Okay, so those are all of the figures I have. I hope you had fun going through all of these Masters of the Universe figures with me. There was a lot. You know what though? For some reason, ever since I saw the commercial for Mossman, I'm like, why? They need to make a new Mossman.
Mossman is green, so I can't be seen.
He's so gross to the touch. I don't like how he feels. He's obviously Beastman, but like mossy. But I like him just because of his little theme song. So I want a Mossman, you know, and there's other characters they could remake too. They could just keep them coming. Do you want to see more? Whoa, look at that. I didn't expect that to happen. Anyway, let me know in the comments if you want more He-Man, and thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.